All right, all right. Coach Smith going live for a few on Valentine's Day. Um, just want to get just a quick message out, not long. So want to have a little bit of time with Coach Smith and Love the Game 24/7 podcast, trying to stay consistent on my Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. I know it's Valentine's Day, so I won't be long. I know some of you folks may be already out, so if you're not listening live, you'll probably catch this on the tomorrow when I put it out, put the recording out. So just be sure you just take some time and get this great message on how to market your student athlete the right way for sports scholarships. Your young lady, your young man, your young boy, your young girl who wants to get recruited in a specific sport, and there's some keys that you need to understand. So thank you for joining Coach Smith tonight, giving some diamonds tonight, some nuggets, really giving some great information on um, really that's going to help eliminate a lot of frustration. So that's my ultimate goal with Love the Game 24/7, with helping young athletes, young middle school and young high school athletes and parents to give you a clear and better understanding on how to market your student athlete the appropriate way. There are some keys that you need to understand to this um, marketing your student for scholarships in sports. It's the same for even if you're just a traditional student, but when we're talking about a sport where you're trying to get a full scholarship, okay, where there's many more opportunities for students who are in sports and music like band and those things to get full scholarships or a good size amount of money for scholarships to help supplement their education, so you as a parent are not coming out having to borrow a lot of money for their education, and your student won't have to borrow a lot of money if anything at all. So these are some strategies that I'm giving you with Love the Game 24/7 sports, because there's not a lot of scholarships out there for merit. There are some, but there aren't many. So if you have a child who loves being active and doing things physically, sports and music, playing in a band, dance, flag girl, all these things, cheerleading, they have scholarships for all these things. And you need to understand that this is why you need to purchase that 10-week digital course with Coach Smith, because you're going to have me live and in person during this 10 weeks. It's not going to be a recording. You're going to have me personally going through this 10-week digital course with you one night a week for 10 weeks. And then we're going to have two bonus weeks where it's just going to be strictly Q&A. Okay. So I'm going to drop you some brief knowledge tonight on some keys to marketing your student athlete to give them a stronger chance, right? So you're not getting yourselves as a student athlete and as a parent frustrated. Of course, there are going to be some frustrations, but I'm going to minimize that. That's what this is all about: minimizing that and helping you build a strategy for your young athlete. And we have to start this in middle school, and definitely if you're in high school, it's not too late, but you need to get on the ball with things, because if you're a junior, if you're a rising junior and a rising senior, and you really haven't done much, you're kind of behind the eight ball, and we need to stop doing that, because I have it too many times where people are uh, getting in contact with me, after the fact. Okay, and and some people may not even get in contact with me, but their student still has missed out on maybe a potential scholarship they could have had, or a better scholarship, or if they even have a scholarship at all, and they have to sit out and go to a local community college, but they're missing time possibly playing in that sport. And some it can happen for some kids that they can still get opportunity. It's not um, impossible, but it's going to be very difficult when you're late and last minute, or if you relied on the coach doing some things. Because, like I said before, some people don't know what they don't know, and I'm trying to help alleviate those struggles. Okay, for you young student athletes out there, and you parents out there, and even some coaches. Okay, that need help. Coach Harvey was on the podcast last Wednesday night. He kicked off our podcast row for Super Bowl week, and I had a discount offer at that time, and Um, and I put out there this week that I'm going to look at doing a new offer that I'll share with you tonight for Black History Month, to get in on this 10-week digital course. If you didn't um, wise up and get in during the 40% discount, I think I'm going to have something that you're going to even like just as much. And you got to get this in, folks. You got to get this stuff in. Somebody reached out to me today about a young man that was they showed on social media about why this young man, a real great looking basketball player, 6'3" guard, 3.9 GPA out of Alabama, president of his student council and all these things. And he doesn't have any like major scholarships. He has NAIA offers. I think he had some HBCU offers, which depend on, what HBC you're going to. They have pretty good, basketball. There's no knock on HBCUs because there's some strong um, sports and HBCUs and football and basketball, track and field, even the girls now in the gymnastics. So yeah, but you still wonder why this young man, as skillfully as he looks, why he doesn't have some major offers. And a lot of times it's because you don't know what you don't know, and even sometimes coaches, and they mean well, okay, and you got to get yourselves connected with someone like myself. Even if it's not me, find somebody in your area that's doing what I'm doing, that's trying to help students, young student athletes, get the blessing of earning a scholarship from their academics and gifts and talents and their character and all these things. So we're going to get on that, and I'm going to be brief. I said I don't want to be long because I know it's Valentine's Day. I've already taken care of my honey right now. It was her birthday yesterday and Valentine's the next day, so I've already blessed her with a nice steak dinner and everything right after work. Um, and so she's already been taken care of, and there'll be some dessert when I get off from this podcast. So make sure you're taking care of your special one, you couples out there, and you're taking care of each other for this Valentine's Day. And I hope it's great, and I hope I can make it even greater. So if you're listening to this live or not, and you're listening to it, the recording, be sure you get all, and all you're getting, get understanding. And so tonight, as I said, there are some keys um, that you need to be aware of. Okay, and we have to stop putting things off, and hoping um, things are going to happen. But you got work. You got to put in some work, y'all. We got to put in some work. I'm putting in work. Okay, and getting the word out there and getting the message out there as much as I can and as often as I can, and giving some content. But the 10-week digital course, we're going to really get into the meat of some things. Okay, I'm giving you some some really good nuggets on my lives that I'm doing right now without even doing the digital course. But you're going to really capture everything when you sign up for this 10-week digital course, and really get into some conversation and hearing other people that are going to be on the digital course, where you'll be able to ask questions and hear what questions are being asked by some other people, because you're probably thinking the same thing, even though you may not have been the one to ask a question during the digital course. But we're going to get as much people, as much help as possible, and getting people to connect with each other and help each other out there. And so that's what it's all about. It's about networking. Okay, that's what college is all about. That's the great thing about going to college. So we got to do all we can to help our young people um, be able to reach their goals. And it's on you, parents. Okay, and you student athletes have a responsibility as well. But parents, you got to step it up. Okay, I wasn't going to let anything, after what I went through with not having help from my high school coach. I was adamant about that. I would never let this happen to anybody else. Okay, that if I can help it, if I had anything to do with it, I'm not going to leave any stone unturned, or not try to do my best to help put on a young athlete so they can help them in their recruiting. But you got to get these keys, okay? And you got to want more for your student athlete, and your student athlete is going to have to want more. And you got to let them hear these messages and share with them what I'm talking about. Sit down with them. If you're not live with them right now, you need to be sitting down with them, watching the recording as you hear me break down these keys. Get caught up with my videos on YouTube, TikTok, IG. Love the game 24_7. That's what I am, Coach, or Coach Smith on IG. But you can catch me on my main IG for Love the Game 24/7. Right. So Love the Game 24_7 is my IG for the recruiting and the podcast. And so that's where I'm live at right now on YouTube and Facebook. And I put out recordings. but we got to get stuff done, folks. We got to, not procrastinate. We got to help our young people out. Um, I'm doing, God gave me, share with me, hey, why he let me go through what I went through is so I could be sitting here with you, with you guys, what I'm doing right now. You know, I know that it wasn't just by happenstance that I went through, and I still got an opportunity to play at every level, from, beyond high school, college, and pro. And so I don't want anybody to have to deal with the struggles that I had to deal with. Okay. And so, and there's people that still out there dealing with this stuff, and you don't have to. Okay. And so that's why, I decided, my boys are grown. They're doing great things out there on their own. You heard from Lil Jeff. He's NFL pro wide receiver with the Arizona Cardinals, and you heard him share on the podcast Saturday morning. And you need to go out there and follow and follow me or subscribe to my YouTube. Also follow me on IG, and be sure you sit down with your young student athlete to get them plugged in from the messages from my son and Lucas Dennis of the Atlanta Falcons DB, so you can hear their stories. You know, guys, get on. We got to get on this stuff. We can't mess around. Okay, and like I said, you rising juniors and rising seniors, if you're not getting what you feel you should be getting, then you need to get your parents to get you all signed up to get this 10-week digital course. But no further ado, let's get on with, let me hip y'all up to something out there about this recruiting world or the business of sports. Okay. This is what I'm talking about today. All right. You must understand these very important keys that I'm going to share with you tonight to help you market yourself, young student athlete, middle school, high school, okay, to help you market yourself to specific colleges and universities as a middle and high school athlete to draw their attention. You got to get these keys. You got to understand this. And you need to be getting in your parents to get you signed up with this 10-week digital course live with Coach Smith to get it even more. I'm just giving you some on the surface stuff right now, you know, to help you understand that if you're probably not doing some things you need to be doing right now. You may be doing a little bit. It's more than just what my play is on the field, guys. That's what I've been trying to preach. That's what I've been trying to help you understand. It got to be more than that. Okay. And then you got to use that. You got to have that now, young lady, on the basketball court. And, on the track and field, you got to run them times. That means you got to be putting in that work on the track with your coach. You got to listen to what your coach is trying to, push you to do. They're trying to push you to help you, to get those numbers, to get those times, right? You gotta be sure, that lacrosse, that you're getting, that work in, right? Getting your plays, getting your skill down, on how to score the ball and how to pass the ball, down the field, as quickly and as skillful as possible. Okay. And so you got to understand, um got to understand that these keys, you got to grasp this stuff, and you got to be sure, because if you guys know that you're better than what you're getting offers from or attention, like I say, you got to be realistic too. Now, don't be unrealistic, but you got to be putting in work. Okay, with your character, with your integrity. Okay, in your sport, in your grades. This shouldn't be hard work. Because if I were you guys, I would go listen to uh, trying to think of the Dallas wide receiver that just did a thing recently with Ryan Clark on the pivot. Des Bryant. Yeah, if you haven't heard Des Bryant's story, go listen to the pivot with Ryan Clark and Channing and Fred Taylor. Those guys, man, they are awesome. They're putting out some great content. Um, just for life in general, but definitely coming from the sports perspective, right? So go listen to Des Bryant from the pivot and hear his story about how he came up and just some of the struggles and things he dealt with, and how he realized, because he had some people speaking into his life and he finally got it. And he also had some things innate that he just, because of how he grew up, that he didn't want to be like. And he was committed to changing his legacy, changing his family legacy. So you definitely, I never have a problem, you know, um, putting other people on, because I listen to a lot of them, Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco, Chad um, Johnson. So there's a lot of people. First Take, I listen to them. So there's a lot of great knowledge out there, but you got to understand how this marketing works, guys. You understand it some, but you need from maybe a consumer perspective, but you need to understand it from an athlete perspective and trying to get myself put on with a scholarship. It's more than just being a consumer. Okay, you gotta invest in yourself. Parents, you gotta invest in your student athlete, right? And things like what I'm trying to help you out with, because it's all about elevating them to the next level. Because and just like we said, the Division 2, I would even tell you back when I was playing, we had a lot of guys that were Division 1 players at my school at Morningside College in Division 2 ball, just in our conference period. And I think in Division 2 period, there's a lot of Division 1 guys that played at the Division 2 level. And guess what? They were some of the best Division 2 players, top in the nation, and they got themselves a great education paid for. And some of them even went on to have an opportunity to play pro sports, or because of networking opportunities, you know, they went pro in something else, but they had their education paid for. And so, like I said, these keys that I'm giving you, you have to understand these very important keys to help you market yourself to specific colleges and universities as a middle and high school athlete to draw their attention. Be sure that you are writing these down. Okay, these very important keys down. Be sure you're writing them down so you can gain a better and clearer understanding of about of how you should be marketing yourself, your abilities and your talent, okay, and your character. Okay, it's all of that. All right, it's more than, you guys got to understand. It's more than just your sport. Now, granted, like I said, there are some athletes out there, they're just blessed with DNA where they're just, they have the physical attributes that people are looking for, and it's like a no brainer, right? But some of those kids don't have the academics all the time, and that might leave a scholarship open. And I hate to say it, but that's just reality. Okay, and some of them students, they'll do whatever they can to try to help them get in, but some of them can't, or they can't stay there. And they may not stay there, and we got to cut that stuff out. Okay, we got to shut that kind of stuff down, right? You know, but key number one that I'm gonna give you: understand what you are selling. Do you know what you are selling? Do you understand what I mean by about understanding what you are selling? I'm talking about you, athlete, student athlete, young student athlete. That's what you have to understand. It's you. Understand what you are selling. You are selling you. That's what you are selling. If you don't understand who you are, then you're not going to ever be able to sell yourself to those schools and colleges, those specific schools and colleges that you want to get their attention, to give you a scholarship, to get put on. So if you don't understand what you are selling, you have to understand you. So that's what I'm saying. You got to get a work ethic. If you don't have one, you need to start getting a better work ethic, right? See, there's some places that your talent can take you, but your character can't keep you there. So if you got some character issues, some character flaws, humble yourself. Understand that you might need some things to work on. Okay, that you need to work on. Because I've said this before. When those recruiters come through the school, see, your high school coach is going to benefit from you getting a scholarship, right? Because it brings attention to the high school, to the coach. Heck, it might even give him a job in the college level coaching, or her a job at the college level coaching one day, because he or she, your coach, is putting out great talent. So they know they're going to hear positive things in most cases, right? They're going to hear, oh yeah, she's great, he's great, from the coach, because they have a investment. They're going to benefit from it, right? Your coach, him or her, are going to benefit from it. So when those recruiters come around, it's not that they're not going to talk to them and um, get an idea about who you are from them. But they know your principal. They talk to your principal. They talk to your guidance counselor. All these people have an invested interest. But guess who doesn't have an invested interest? That janitor, that man or lady that's a janitor that walks around your campus and have to clean up behind y'all kids. That cafeteria lady or that cafeteria man that's in that cafeteria. They don't have an investment. They don't have an invested interest. They're not benefiting. The cafeteria worker, um, the janitor worker, they're not benefiting from you, but the high school coach is, the school is, the principal is, the guidance counselor is, because their school gets put on, notice, right? But that cafeteria person, that janitor person, they do not have an invested interest in you. And so guess who they're going to talk to first? They're going to talk to those people first. They're going to talk to that student, that non-student athlete walking around campus that you might have just had an issue with. That's why you got to be careful about, and when I say careful, if you're a good person, you don't have to be careful because that's you. That's genuinely who you are. You're a caring person. And so you never have to be careful because I'm always helping people. But if that janitor can say, "Oh yeah, that young man, that young lady right there, oh, she don't play." I sometimes when I'm out here, or that uh, person that cuts the grass in the field, the yard, working all that stuff, and see all you different athletes out there participating, and see how you carry yourself and conduct yourself, and see how you carry yourself in the cafeteria. If you're the ones that make sure your teammates and your friends that you hang out with are responsible enough to be sure they clean up behind themselves and that you're not leaving a place messy. Those are character things, right there. Those are character flaws or character traits, I should say, that could be positive or negative for you, right? And so the recruit is trying to find out as much as they can about who you are really. So if you don't know what you're selling, do you know, as I said, understand what you are selling? You are selling you. You are selling your character. It's more than just what's on that field. That's who you're selling. And if you don't understand that you got to sell yourself, and I'm not talking I'm not talking about this in a negative way. I'm talking about this in a positive way. You're selling it when you go on a job interview. You got to sell yourself. You got to sell yourself by saying, "Yes, I have the appropriate degree. I have the appropriate years of experience." That's me selling and marketing myself, and it is no different than you doing the same thing as a young student athlete, as a young boy, young girl, right, young man, young lady. You understand? So I'm not talking about something in a negative way. I'm talking about in a positive way. If you want to get that high six-figure paying job, okay, and it gives you bonus money, and you put some years in working, getting your degree, and getting the experience that you know you needed for a certain job that you were looking for one day. You got to be able to sell yourself, right? You got to be able to. They're going to ask you certain questions to see if you know the software that they're using. Do you have any familiarity with it? Right, the Microsoft Suite stuff, all of these different things, and um, Salesforce, all these different things, certain ticket sales systems, and all these other different things. Do you have any experience in this field? If you're an engineer, if you're in banking, and all these, they want to know, do you have what kind of degree? And sometimes you don't have to have that specific degree, but if you do have it, that's great. And if you have some job experience, 3 to 5 years in some cases that they're looking for, and you have a portfolio of work, or you have some relationships that you built, and they know if they hire you, you can possibly bring on board those relationships that you built in your prior experience before they hired you and paid you some major dollars now. And then you got to bring that volume in. So that means you got to have relationships with people, or know how to build relationships with people, and have enough character and be genuine and know what you're selling. Because most times in any job, before people give you or trust you anything, you gotta be able to sell yourself, that you're somebody that's trustworthy, that they can rely on, that you're gonna come through. So you gotta understand what you are selling. This is how you gotta market yourself to um, certain schools. And the other thing I'm gonna give you a little bit of information because you need to get my digital course to get this stuff, but I'm gonna give you a little taste of what else I'm talking about. Sometimes you hear people say, you've heard, I know I've heard Coach Derek Tatum say this on his elite talent football, where you have to stop showing love to those schools who aren't showing love to you, or only show love to those schools who are showing love to you. Right? You hear that saying sometimes. Do you understand? See, there's a deeper meaning behind that, right? Because some of y'all are showing love to a school who's not buying what you're selling. Not that you're a bad person. You're a great you're a great catch for a specific. That's what I said, for a specific college or university, right? What we mean by that is, if I'm a running back, like I was an all-purpose running back, why would I be trying to sell myself to a school that doesn't have a 5'9", 5'10" running back, all-purpose running back? All the running backs are 6 feet plus, right? So know what you're selling. If you understood what I just said, know what you're selling. That's what they mean by you shouldn't be showing love to schools who aren't showing love to you. Or I know this might be your favorite school, but see, what I'm gonna help you understand. I'm gonna give you a little bit more. What I'm gonna help you understand is this: is you got to know who you are as a young athlete, what position you play, what's your measurables, and all these different things. And when you go look at some of these schools, okay, you need to be sure that you match up with what's already on that roster. If you don't match up with what's already on that roster, stop showing love. Move on. And I'll talk more about that in the 10-week digital course. That's why you need to sign up because I'm dropping diamonds on you. But I'll give more explanation about that when you sign up for the 10-week digital course. I just want to give you a taste of what I'm talking about. So you got to understand what you're selling. Next key, second key, who you're selling to. And I just kind of shared that with you. Do you know who you're selling to? Have you done your homework? Okay. Have you done your homework on the schools that you say you like, on your list of schools? Do you know who that offensive coordinator is and where they're coming from, where they come from? Do you know what they look for in their positions? Do you understand who that defensive coordinator is? Right? Some of y'all don't understand that Patrick Mahomes was a 3-star athlete coming out of high school. Does he look like a three? Did he look like a 3-star the other night in the Super Bowl? I don't think so. I don't think he looked like a 3-star the other night because I'm telling you right now, he's running very close right about now to being the GOAT in his young career this early. Because some of the other great ones that we know of didn't start out this great, this young, this early in their career. Patrick Mahomes, he understands what he was selling, okay, and he knows who to sell to. And Patrick Mahomes didn't go to Texas or Texas A&M. He went to that smaller Texas school, them smaller Texas school, Division I schools, right? But the other ones didn't come knocking on the door for him. The other Texas schools or the Oklahomas or the UCLA's and I don't see any of them accomplishing what Patrick Mahomes has been accomplishing since he's been in the league this short time. He's only 28 years old. So you have to understand who you're selling to, guys. At whatever sport you're playing, mom and dad, y'all got to understand this too, because you got to be teaching them. You got to get them on this 10-week digital course so they can understand. Okay. You all got to hear what I'm telling you. That's why I know what I'm selling. I know all this stuff. I know what I have to bring to the table is awesome and will help anybody accomplish what they're trying to get to if they listen. You heard Lucas tell you, right? I had the blueprint to help him get back in the league, and he listened. I didn't have to help Lucas get better. Lucas was already a good athlete. Okay, he just needed somebody to help show him how to get back to where he belonged. And I'm thankful that I was there to be able to help him do that and give him the blueprint because I know he's going to deliver for the Atlanta Falcons when they give him the chance, give him his opportunity. And you heard my son say, because, yeah, dad, because of you and Uncle Todd, because y'all played at every level, you all understood it. You didn't take me to all the 24/7 ranking camps, every year. We did them, once. I did all those things once. Football University, FBU. He got chosen. He and Ray McLeod, the young man you saw the other night for the San Francisco 49ers, um, where the teammate on that muff punt return where it wasn't his fault necessarily. The football hit his teammate's foot, and he tried to, do his best to try to either make something happen. Maybe he probably should have just fell on it, but hey, sometimes in that moment you just trying to, you know, correct something that just happened. He was, telling his teammates, the ball was falling short, and it hit one of his teammates um, in the leg, and but Ray McLeod and my son were both the only two kids in the Tampa Bay area that were chosen to go to the FBU All Stars to play against Canada, USA against Canada. That was also during the same weekend as the Under Armour All American game. And Sony Michel was one of the guests. I think he had the year before he was like one of those stars. You guys are familiar with Sony Michel that played at Georgia, University of Georgia, and went on to play for the Rams and several other teams. I'm not sure if he's still playing, but he was a great kid. But like I said, guys, you got to know who you're selling to. Patrick Mahomes was a 3-star quarterback coming out of high school. And I'm telling you right now, He's no way in the world a three-star athlete. He's better than that. But that's what they tagged him at when he first came out of college, out of high school. He was a three-star. That's why you gotta understand they miss it sometimes, and you gotta make sure you help them pay. You gotta have a chip on your shoulder. Okay, you need to have a chip on your shoulder, and that's how Howard Snellenberger built University of Miami program when they won their first national championship before Jimmy Johnson got there. And Jimmy Johnson helped take it to another level because he knew a lot of those young men like myself, when they were recruiting me, we were getting snubbed by Florida and Florida State, right? They were overlooking some guys, and that's how Jimmy would tell you because I got recruited by him. I sat in his office, okay, and he was like, "Yeah, I know Florida and Florida State, they're not recruiting you, but we want you at Miami." Okay. And man, and the rest is history. So you young student athletes got to understand, and parents understand what you're selling was key number one. Key number two, who you're selling to. Do you know who you're selling to? Right? Understand what you're selling. That's you, student athlete. You got to understand yourself, understand your strengths and your weaknesses, understand you, understand what you're selling. And then you got to understand who you're selling to. Okay. So you got to understand that you need to know that coach. You need from the head coach to your position coach to the offensive coordinator to the defensive coordinator. You got to do your homework. And parents, you got to do your homework. I did the homework when my son was in middle school, in high school, and then I made him do some stuff so he can appreciate it and be and when I explained to him, this is what you have to do when you on that football field, you got to play at another speed because you were a multi-talented quarterback. Okay, multi-talented quarterback. And so you got to be able to show that. And you got to have some character. Like I said, there's some places where your talent will take you, but your character got to keep you there. If your character can't keep you there, we got some work to do. So let's do it now while you're young, mom and dad, uh, young lady, young man. Okay. And so key number three is how to get their attention. When you get those first two down, now you'll know how to get their attention. But we're only going to be getting attention to the ones we need to get attention from. Okay. It ain't everybody. You don't need 25, 30 offers, all this stuff that you see. That's great. And like I said, there's some kids because they just blessed with DNA and physical size and all that. But a lot of times, even when some of those kids have all that, some of them don't always have what the character, to keep them there. They have talent, but they don't always have what they need to keep them there. And you have to, mom and dad, let's start now while we're young to help teach our kids about character and hard work. Okay, you know, so you got to know how to get these people attention. And like I said, stop always looking at what somebody else got. Oh, cause Shelly got you know um, 15, 20 offers. Man, all you need is about a good three, maybe five or seven offers of some solid offers. That's it. That's it. And be rest assured, if you got some major Power Five or you got some pretty decent Division 1 offers, the FCS schools are giving. The Division 2 schools are giving if that's what you decide to do. They are giving. They'll be wondering why you trying to come play for them. Like, oh man, don't you have offers from solid offers? Yeah. So just know you'll have somewhere to go if you're a Division 1 kid like my son. I told you, I'm like many of the FCS schools would come by. You know, um, the Appalachian State and all those schools, were coming through. Um, and they all said, hey, coach, if anything happened with your son, just know we'd love to have him, you know. But they knew, hey, we know he's gonna get some Power Five offers, and he got some. He didn't have 10, 15, 20. He had enough. He had about a good seven, make 7 to 10 Power Five offers out there. That's all you need. Stop getting caught up about having this. If you got those 3 to 5 to 7, maybe 10 offers, and they are solid, that's we don't need to do nothing else. Focus on them and figuring out which one's the best place for you to go, right? And so once you get their attention, once you get key number one down, understand what you are selling, and then you got key number two down, who you're selling to, do your homework, young man, young lady, mom and dad. And key number three, how to get their attention. Okay. So once you get in one and two down, now we know how to get their attention. Okay. Because I know who I'm selling. I know um, who I'm selling, right? I understand what I am selling, me. And I have all of that stuff. Grades, test scores, all this stuff. All this stuff should be done by your junior year. Okay. And then who you're selling to, we know the head coach to the position coach to the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, depending on what position I'm playing that I decide I want to play, or what the schools are really looking to recruit me at, and I'm willing to play offense or defense. It just depends, on what sport you're playing. You got your times down, and then um, from your measurables what this coach is looking for. I remember I was getting recruited by University of Iowa, and I remember Ronnie Harmon played there. He was a baller, man. For University of Iowa when I was growing up watching the Hawkeyes play, and they were black and gold, just like my school, looking like Pittsburgh Steelers. And we had uniforms, and I was in high school just like the Pittsburgh Steelers and Iowa Hawkeyes, and I was trying to stay with that black and gold and white, man. I was like, man, I wouldn't mind going to Iowa, let alone I did go to Iowa. It just wasn't my Iowa Hawkeyes, um, but I did get recruited by them, and I remember getting a program from Iowa when they were sending me stuff, and how they send you stuff, and they sent a program, and I remember making sure. Let me read what they had quotes or statements from all the coaches and different things like that, and I remember looking at the running back coach, and I remember him saying specifically, I don't care if you're 5'9" or 6 feet. I was like, oh boy, that's all I needed. He's like, I don't care if you're this and I don't care if you're that. And I fit exactly what he was saying. You're all-purpose running back that you can run, block, and catch the football. That's all I was looking. That was doing Hayden Fry's time at Iowa. And I was in high school. I remember getting a call from Pat Dye from Auburn University. He had Bo Jackson, but he had Brent Fullwood. You know, that was the little back. He had the big back, so he had a mix. So I was like, yeah, okay, now, okay, that's the stuff I'm talking about. Okay. So what I'm saying is when you get this down, now you're on to something, all right, and getting the results that you're looking for. Okay. But you got to get this 10-week digital course to help you dig deeper. I got all the goods for you guys out there. All you young student athletes out there and parents out there trying to figure this thing out. No longer do you need to figure it out. You got Coach Smith and Love the Game 24/7 dropping diamonds on you. I remember listening to Dion was saying back when he was in college, and how all the guys um, were looking to try to figure out what party they were going to, what they were going to hit after the games. And not saying he didn't go to some, but I played with one of Dion's teammates in college, that would tell me. And he told me, Dion wasn't really like, he'd be hanging on the wall, holding up a wall, stuff. He wasn't really, he went just because he wanted to hang with the fellas sometimes, but he wasn't really like the party goer all the time. And I remember him saying on the interview that he was back in the room trying to write down little sayings that he was going to say during interviews. He was thinking about how he was going to market himself, to the league, on the field and off the field. When he got, made big plays and he knew he was going to get an interview, he was trying to figure out these little catchy little sayings that he was going to. And y'all hear him all the time come up with these little catchy little sayings. And that was a gift that he worked, right? That he just kept honing his skills in that, right? But he also put that onus on him to make him play and make plays, because he looked for that. He looked for that opportunity to make a play so he can use one of his little catchphrases that he was sitting up in the room, you know, with a few of his fellows, if maybe not by himself sometimes, like, okay, man, I got to come up with something I'm going to say when I ball out and have a punt return, for a touchdown or blah, blah, blah. You know, that's where it's at. So when you get this down, you realize these keys down, you're going to realize that now you're on to something, right? To help you get to the next level, to what you're looking for. And you're going to get, help from Coach Smith, So parents, I just want to also give you these quick little nuggets before I get off here is, parents, you must invest in helping your young athlete experience what a win is, right? From putting in hard work towards a goal, right? They're gonna bump their knees a little bit here and there. I remember, you know, telling my son, man, this is what you got to do if you want to earn that shunt helmet. Okay, I remember he was looking up to the older kids in high school, to the when he was in ninth grade, and looking at the juniors and seniors, the varsity players when he was in ninth grade. Oh, Dad, I want those Cam Newton cleats. Oh, can I get those? Blah blah blah. I'm like, man, I ain't putting that kind of money out until you show me something. You know, until you show me something, until you show me some hard work, and you go out here and score some touchdowns and show that you a ball out here, so we can. Because the goal is, son, you got the talent. We need to try to get you some scholarship. You got to show me you ready to ball before I go pay 250, $300. Well, guess what? I paid it because he ended up started doing it, but I put it on him. I'm like, hey, this is what I got to see as your dad, and your mom. I got to justify to your mama why I'm spending that kind of money. You know, because mama didn't always want you playing football. But I told her, this boy can play. He wants to play, and he can play baseball, and he can do some others. No, this is what's going to pay for their education. Now, trust me, she understood it once them scholarship offers started coming in. You feel me? So trust me, you know, he can't. Oh, Dad, I want them Cam Newtons. Oh, girl, you got to show me something. You know, them grades, keep them grades up. Go to study hall. You get up in the morning. You got to go to study hall. Get to study hall first thing in the morning before school start. Man, you got to put some work. Man, you got to learn to put some work in. And trust me, it wasn't easy all the time. But ask him now. Now that been in the NFL for almost 6 years, ask him now what mom and dad always said. Look, man, you got to show us when you were young. You ain't too young to deal with that, man. You got to show me, right? I'm not finna spend $300 on a bat. Well, when he started playing, hey, I spent 250, $300 on a nice bat, and glove and this and that. Hey, he had about 5 NMLB teams, sent letters when he was in high school. That's what it's all about. I'm trying to give you options. That's what I used to tell my boys. I'm trying to help give y'all some options, man, so y'all can start out better than what I did. Because I wish I would have known some of this stuff when I was, somebody would have told me some of this stuff, man. I would have done more, right? So parents, you gotta help your young athlete, you know, experience a win, right? From putting hard work, have them teach them how to put in hard work towards a goal, and winning and accomplishment, right? You got to make sure they have a growth mindset and not a fixed mindset, right? There's a difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. See, a growth mindset is a positive response you will get, right? You get a positive response if you teach your young lady, your young boy, what a growth mindset is, and also that you're, as a parent, you're showing them as well personally in your different things that you're dealing with as well, right? My kids saw me studying for my MBA in sports management while I was coaching them in football and staying up at 2 or 3 o'clock at night studying, and having to get up and go to work at 8 something in the morning, and then taking them to football practice, baseball practice, right? For about a year and a half, 2 years, working on getting that MBA in sports management. They saw daddy hustling. They saw mama working at night as a registered nurse, for 20 something years, you know, taking care of, in the critical care unit or in shock trauma unit. They saw mama and daddy putting work in. They saw mama being a nurse and getting her master's in her as an RN, and being a adjunct professor and teaching after getting that master's, and teaching young students. They saw examples of that in the house. Was we perfect? By no stretch of the imagination were we perfect, but they saw their mom and dad hustling, right? They saw it, trying to pay for that private school for the both of them when they first went in it together. But my youngest son, thankfully, went to the community college and got his 2-year degree when he graduated from high school. But he got examples of it. So a growth mindset is a positive response where they see failure is an opportunity to grow, right? And it challenges them, right? It's the challenges that help them to grow. The challenges that they go through helps them grow. But you got to give them a growth mindset, you know. So they don't see failure as, oh, I can't do this. Okay, they see failure as, okay, what do I need to do to get better, so I don't fail at this again, right? Like, I used to take my son, I used to spend money for them to go take batting practice when they were playing baseball. I didn't just put money towards football. I put money towards baseball too when they were playing baseball. You know, go to a hitting coach, all that stuff. I did it. I'm like, look, man, I'm put some money in because y'all brothers getting some scholarships. I ain't paying this kind of money for education because I know I'm a financial aid administrator. I know. I'm like, man, no, I rather invest now. In these ways, buying you some Cam Newton because you showed me you ready to ball, buying you that baseball bat because you showing me that you got 4 or 5 major league baseball teams that were showing some interest where they sent letters to the house. You know, options, baby. But if they only have a fixed mindset, that's a negative type response where they see failure as a limit of their abilities. Well, I can't do, either I'm good at it or I'm not. That's kind of the response you get. Well, either I'm good at it or I'm not, and then they don't try, right? So we don't want to teach our kids to have a fixed mindset. You know, you got to have a fixed mindset on some things, right? It just depends on what we're talking about. But when it comes to them trying to be to better themselves in their sport, right, or sports, to help them get scholarships, to help pay for that education, to save mama and daddy, 200 and some thousand, 300 and some $1,000, right? Um, that's you know that's what we're trying to do. That's what Love the Game 24/7 is trying to do. So I don't want to belinger any longer. The final thing that I'm going to finish up with is to give you information about this 10-week digital course, and I'm going to be done for the night. And I've shared um, um, during the um, Super Bowl week when we did the podcast row. I shared this information about the Love the Game 24/7 10-week digital course, and what is valued at. That course is 10 modules, and it's lifetime access for you parents and students to have that for life. So if you got more than one child that plays sports, or you got a nephew or a niece, you know, you got this 10-week module for lifetime. And that was valued at just under $4,000, $39.94, right? You're going to have, I will be emailing you within 24 to 48 hours after every night we go through this digital course live with Coach Smith. I will be emailing you a PowerPoint in a PDF format of the course layout every night. I'm not giving it to you ahead of time. I'm giving it to you at the end, because I'm recording it. I'm going to be live. You're going to get these PowerPoint and course layout. That's like at a $97 value, right? Weekly live coaching, right? Hours of weekly live coaching, right, with Coach Smith, right? And that's a $1,500 value. We have a private Facebook community. That's priceless, right? That's a priceless benefit. And like I said, I'm going to also provide 1 free hour consultation and evaluation with Coach Smith for everybody who signs up. You get me live, and we'll talk and discuss your child, your young student athletes playing. If you get this thing as a middle school um, um, athlete, you got it for a high school. You need it now for middle school so we can teach you early. And you're going to have this for lifetime access. And you're always going to have this Facebook community and where everybody can email each other and ask questions and all that stuff. But that 1 free hour consultation with me is $150 value, right? In the 2 bonus weeks, that's at a $300 value, right? The 2 bonus weeks to week 11 and 12 just to do a full just Q&A stuff, right? And you'll have email support for individual questions. Okay. Um, and so I didn't even tell you the last benefit yet, and I'll give that to you. But um, the last benefit is if I get at least 5 middle school students or 5 high school students, doesn't have to be the same sport. It can be a mix of male and female student athletes, or it doesn't matter. But if I get at least 5 middle school students from the same school or 5 high school students from the same school, I'm giving back $500 to your athletic program. Tell me who's investing back into you like that when you pay money for stuff that's helping you. I don't think I've heard anybody doing that. If I get 10 people from the same middle school or high school, that's $1,000 that's coming back to your athletic program that Love the Game 24/7 is going to give back. I don't think anybody else is doing that. But when you add that stuff up, that's over a $6,500 value. I'm not trying to run people off, guys. I'm trying to help people sign up and get the help they need. I'm not trying to break the bank for anybody. I'm not trying to break the bank with anybody on this. I'm trying to help folks save money but you got to invest a little bit, right? You got to be committed. Usually, when you pay for something like that and invest in something, you best believe when I was paying money out for my boys on different things, I was sure enough committed, and they were committed because I made a point to make sure they were committed. All right, especially if they told me this is something that they love and enjoy doing. Okay, we're gonna be committed together, right? And so I'm not even charging $4,000 for this program that I know works. Full proof. We don't overpromise. We don't we don't overpromise. So we're realistic, right? But we under promise, but we know we'll over deliver on this promise. If you listen and follow the plan, the 10-week digital course plan, and listen and ask questions, and you follow this, I know it's going to help your student athlete get some scholarship opportunities, especially if they love the game 24/7. I know they're going to get some. We don't make any promises about what division level. That's totally up to you on how committed you are as a young student athlete and parents, you know, because you have your part that you have to do. I can't control you how you prepare and do what you if you're doing those things and you're committed to that and you're committed to this 10-week digital course, um, I'm telling you right now, it's gonna pay off. You put the work in, it's gonna I'm telling you, you're gonna man, look here. I appreciate it, Philip Haywood, my man. I'm not pulling no punches with nobody here. I'm telling you, I know what works. I had to do this myself and learn it myself. And then I put it to the test with my son and several other student athletes that I've worked with. I remember helping a young man that played baseball, had orthoscopic knee surgery, playing baseball at St. Pete Community College. And he always dreamed of wanting to play football. And young kid, good kid. Um, and he hurt his knee, but it wasn't serious knee surgery. Um, and this was at a time where Coach Lovett was over at USF with the start. He had just not too long started a football program at USF, and this young man had never played football since like high school, but he played baseball. He was a real good baseball athlete, but he was like, man, I want to try football. He was probably about 6'1", good 215, 220. Um, and I told him, I said, well, and I asked him why did you try to play football, and do that. And so just working with this young man, because I was his financial aid counselor at the community college, and just talking with him and sharing with him, and he had been rehabbing his knee and was in good shape. And I told him before I would go over and talk to Coach Lovett about helping him walk on, because he was going to be finishing up at St. Pete Community College, and he had already worked on getting accepted at South Florida University of South Florida. And I said, well, before I talk to Coach Lovett, man, you got to show me what you committed to doing. And I remember, man, for about that whole semester, this boy worked. I would meet him out at the field, take him through some drills, and tell him, hey, look, he was like a running back type, got the fullback. And I said, man, I took him out to the work. I'm like, this kid here looks good, man. He just needs somebody to push him and give him an opportunity. And so I worked with him. Me and my brother, we worked with him, and eventually I made a phone call to Coach Love and said, man, would you be willing, because of my relationship with my brother and I, because we both were recruited by Coach Lovett and we had a relationship with him. He was willing to allow us to bring him over one day to work out for him when we felt like he was ready to show. And I worked with him on how to come out the backfield catching passes. He was a natural in some things. Some things he needed some work. I worked with him. You know, that kid went over there, ran every bit of a 4.5 40. Like mid 4.5 40 for Coach Lovett over at USF. And Coach Lovett told us, because he was willing, because he knew who we were and we wouldn't just bring anybody over there. He was impressed with the young man and allowed him to walk on at USF. And this cat had to earn him a spot walking on at USF because of the work he was committed to, and this stuff that I put to the test, you know, um, with him doing some of this same very stuff that I'm telling you right now. And um, that young man put in the work with me and my brother and helping him out. And he got over there in front of Coach Lovett. He did every bit of everything, caught the ball, coming out the backfield, doing different things, doing different drills that Coach Lovett took him through. And he was like, Lovett was like, okay. yeah, I'll be willing to let you walk on. You know, you were accepted at USF, and um, he just said. And I remember talking to Coach Levitt. They were impressed with him doing spring ball. I mean, very impressed with him. And that's even after him coming off orthoscopic knee surgery several months prior. But I was like working and you know teaching him about how to run the 40 the right way and what we need to do. And that brother went right over there, man, and did what he needed to do. So that's why I'm telling you, this 10-week digital course I'm laying out for you. That I'm telling you, I'm not charging nobody no $2,000 for this. I'm not charging anybody $1,500. I'm charging $997 for this course. $997 is what I'm charging. Like I said before, and um, I offered um, the 40% discount off during the Super Bowl week that put it at $398.80. Right, that's what I offered, and that ended after the Super Bowl ended. That 40% discount went away. However, I am willing this for Black History Month. I'm offering the course at 30% off. Right, so 30% off this course. Okay, times 30% off. Let me tell you what that is because I forgot to do this before. So the course is $997 instead of 40% off like I offered during the Super Bowl week. I'm offering 30% off for Black History Month. Right, that's a savings of $299.10. Right, that's what the savings is. So that's what it's not gonna cost you that. So minus $299.10 off at 30% is what I'm giving off, 30% off, right? That puts the course at $697.90. So I'm offering for Black History Month, 30% off to get with Coach Smith in this 10-week digital course live and in person with me. And you just heard these keys that I just gave you. And if you're interested, you need to be signing yourselves up so you can get with me to break this stuff down to you even more about how to market your young student athlete the right way. Like I said, we don't need 15, 25, 30 offers. All that stuff is great. You can't go to 25, 10, 15, 30 different schools. You can only go to one, right? You can only go to one. So, um, I understand, all this stuff, you see going viral and all this other stuff. That's great, you know, but, most people aren't getting that many offers. Okay. Um, and some of that stuff ain't even not even as solid as you think it is. I'd rather have me 3 to 5, maybe 7 solid offers that I know are solid, it's on the table. Sign, all you gotta do is sign your name. I'd rather have that than 30 offers and probably half of them not even legit. Okay. So and I know that just from, like I said, dealing with, being in coaching high school sports, football and track and other things. I keep my ear to the ground, man, and talking to people. Okay. And like I said, I don't know everything, but I know enough. Okay. I know enough to help you. I know that much. And so if you're interested in getting this 10-week digital course and getting your thing going with your young student athlete, like I said, you can cash out me or PayPal me at Love the Game 27. You got Cash App, you got PayPal. You need to be signing up. You need to be telling your friends. You need to be telling your nieces and your nephews. You need to be telling your sisters, your brothers that got kids, you know, your cousins. You need to get the word out there about Love the Game 24/7 and Coach Smith. You can also Venmo me, at Jeffrey, Jeffrey hyphen Smith, Smith hyphen 745 if you got Venmo. So you can Venmo me, you can PayPal or Cash Out me. Like I said, Love the Game 27. You know, it's a 30-day money back guarantee once we start the course. If you aren't happy within 30 days when we start that, then you don't have to be you get your money back. Okay. So I'm about to end on IG. I spent more time than I was supposed to, but I appreciate you guys joining me in Love the Game 24/7 podcast. I'll be here if not Saturday. I may I'll be letting you know. But Saturday, if not Saturday, Sunday, I may be here. But I'm planning on being here Saturday morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. So I appreciate you guys joining me. Have a blessed night, and let's go join it. Get on with Coach Smith and Love the Game 24/7 podcast. Love the Game 24/7 10-week digital course. Like I said, 30% off, guys. 30% off. Okay, 30% off. The course is $9.97. 30% off puts you at right. $299, 10 off, and the course is going to cost you $697.90, and you're going to get me live for 10 weeks, really 12 weeks, but there's 2-week bonus in there. So guys, I know when you put your money on something, you're more invested in something, right? You're more serious about it. Okay, just like I was. So I appreciate you joining me. Like I said, cash out me, Love the Game 27, or PayPal, same thing, Love the Game 27, or Venmo at Jeffrey-Smith-745. And if you got any questions, email me. Love the 24/7game at gmail.com. Love the 24/7game at gmail.com. I want to hear from you. You got questions, hit me up. Be glad to answer them. All right. Have a blessed night. Take care, guys. And I look forward to seeing you signing up for this 10-week digital course. And let's get your kids these scholarships that they deserve. All right. Happy Valentine's Day.